Chuck Pagano. I'm the chairman of the board for Holy Land Waterbury. I've been doing this since 2013 when the original plot of land called Holy Land, 18 plus acres, was purchased and put into a limited liability corporation. And now it's a nonprofit, and it's been running as an act of love. We have a board of about 10 people headed up by our mayor and one of our local business people, Elite, Fritz Blasius, who owns Blasius Chevrolet. And it was their idea to do this as a limited liability. And I've been very, very happy to serve and help whatever I can restoring the Holy Land that I remember as a kid. It's a cultural and historic site in the city. Attorney John Baptiste Greco in the 50s owned the land. This was actually originally called Pine Hill when I was a youngster. And he built a miniaturized version of Holy Land over in the Middle East that he wanted to recreate a smaller version of Bethlehem / Nazareth / Jerusalem with biblical themes and little sidebars of reflection points for people to tour either on a Sunday or any day of the week that they came up. And when I was a kid, there were bus loads of people up here coming up that hill, and the buses were a lot smaller back then. But, you know, in one year, I'm sure we had an excess of 20,000 people come up here during the summer, of multitudes of buses. Actually, he had a plan, it's in his old office in the building behind us, for opening up an entrance over on the other side of the hill so that more buses could park there and more buses could come up. But it was a very popular religious theme respite on the highway, and it got its fair share of traffic. And it's been part of my life ever since I was a kid. I grew up on the Brooklyn part of town, which is on the south side of the city. And as a child, I would look out my window in my bedroom, and I could see the original cross on the hill, which didn't have the light possibility that's there now from the power. And that's what got me connected with. Our mayor called me and asked me if I'd serve on the board, and same day he asked me if I'd be the chair of the board. And I said, most definitely, and it's been that way since. Attorney Greco became ill and then eventually passed away. He had gotten away from day to day and had given the property over to the Sisters of Filipina, I believe. They're now down in Jersey, but they lived in this building right in back of us. They were not prepared to maintain the park / just dealing with the vegetation was a nightmare. So that went on for quite a few years. And then eventually there was a shrinkage of the sisters, and they were all called back to New Jersey, and that's when they elected to sell the property off, or they at least entertain selling the property. And that's when Neil and Fritz had put together and made some calls to get some money seeded to put on the LLC together to buy the property. And then after that, the rest is history. That's when the group got in and started to rebuild and clean up the plot of land and what you see up there. In fact, next week or the week after, this arch in front will be replaced with a brand new one that is going to be a steel gate. This will be leveled down. We're waiting for the frost line to go down so we can sink some footings. And the same good friend of ours, Joe Pisani, who fabricated the new cross and donated it to Holy Land, is doing the same thing with the arch and the gate in front here. So that's that'll be ready for the mass that we're having on April 28th for Father McGivney as our second annual Knights of Columbus celebration to Father McGivney, who was born in Waterbury and he died in Thomaston. And he's in line for sainthood. I'm not sure when that's going to be made final decision by the Vatican, but we keep our fingers crossed. I call it more spiritual than religious, because we're not just a singular religion focused organization. This community is made up of Muslim, evangelist, Lutheran, Catholic, and everybody plays a part in helping us either raise money or volunteer time and materials to restore it back to what the original spec was by attorney John Greco.
You mentioned on the phone, I think, that the Albanian Muslims were particularly helpful.
Very helpful. Spaghetti dinners, door-to-door campaigns to help us raise money for our yearly benefit, to raise money to at least cover lighting the cross every night, and making sure the liturgical calendar is always represented on the color of the light. We only change it for 2 different colors. One is for autism, and the other is for Breast Cancer Awareness Week. Other than that, it's always on a liturgical calendar, and unfortunately for a lot of people, we don't change that policy. We just stick with the liturgical. I think we're going to be opening up a bigger part of this year, 2019, in the hopes of opening more and more of it up as we go into 2020. Our first step was getting a repavement of the asphalt that brings you all the way around the cross, and also the new arch entrance will be greeting you to allow you in. We'll see after the Mass at the end of April to see what else we have to do to make it so that we can at least get people in to come by and take a walk through. I'm not sure we'll open it at night. We'll probably close it at night and keep it no trespassing at night for the time being, because it could be a little dicey up here because it is a construction zone and people could trip and fall and do some damage to them. That won't happen until after we open up the park and we're all done with the restoration. One special thing that we are doing, and I think you saw the brick face up at the base of the cross, we are selling bricks. It's a nice way of creating a legacy for yourself or whoever you want to. I have a brick up there for my mother and my father and my aunt and uncle, who are my godparents. You can buy them. They're on our website. There's an order form, and it's just a nice memento to leave for your follow-on relatives to know that somebody was here from your family representing a good cause and a holier respite than the rest of us.